how do we manage our energy? And I think you've got a concept called a blueprint. Like, let's dig into that piece a little bit more, that energy and the
Okay.
blueprint for it.
Whatever you do, you spend your energy from morning to evening. You give it all.
Yep.
If you don't have a way to recharge yourself, you'll give it all Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. By
Right.
Thursday, your energy is going down. By Friday, you don't even want
Yeah.
to be there anymore. So you do half
Exactly.
days. Like, how do we make sure that every person that we're expecting so much out of, how do we make sure that their energy transactions are not at a deficit?
Right.
Meaning, the type of work that you do, I'm sure there's a reason why you left the corporate world as it was and you're
Mm-hmm.
doing what you're doing right now.
Yep.
Because the work that you're doing is fueling you. So you put in the effort, but you get so much back because you believe that you're doing something that's helping people accomplish goals, giving answers that you did not have when you were in your position. So you
Yep.
get that energy back by knowing that you're doing something meaningful.
Right.
Okay. So that means that every single person on your team, you have to get a sense of how are they getting their energy back? Because
Right.
if they're not getting it back, every single person eventually their energy is just going to get lower and lower and lower. And at some point, it's like, well, this person is not producing. Let's get rid of him and get somebody else in there. To be more specific, there is a formula that I call 7 days to happiness. Now, it may sound a bit like a fantasy to some people. It's actually quite efficient.
And so the 7 days to happiness involve how to manage your energy and the
Yes.
purpose.
Yes.
Okay.
So basically, the only way you can keep doing what you're doing with the same enthusiasm and keep going, it's somehow you feel happy doing it. If you're not happy doing what you're doing, you're
Right.
not going to do it for long. People leave their jobs because they're not happy for whatever reason.
Mm-hmm.
And they go to another job hoping they'll be happier wherever they're going. So, whatever it is that people are doing, they're doing it because they hope it will make them happier. So, the 7 days is 7 symbolic days to being happier doing whatever it is that you're doing. And the idea behind it is that we live life in seasons. If you want to have a balanced life, personal life, professional life, you want to live your life in seasons. So look at it like a farmer. A farmer has a cycle that they go through every year. Some part of the season, they have to prepare the soil.
Yep.
There's a part where they have to plant seeds. There's a part where they have to nurture that seed. They have to make sure everything is the way it's supposed to protect those seeds until they start to bear fruit. Then you take care of that until the time comes to harvest. And when you get to that point, you harvest, you're done, take a break, then you start over. So you can apply this formula to pretty much everything in your life. So the 7 days, it's 7 symbolic days. You can apply that within an hour and do some self reflection. Prepare the
Mm.
soil. You prepare yourself mentally for what you're going to do. You relax, you understand what it is that you're doing. You make sure that you're in the mental and emotional state to do that kind of work. Then you start the work. You plant the seeds, wherever it is that you want to do with your life. Then you start working on it and you see it through and you protect your time while you're doing that. When you get to a
Mm.
certain point, you see how much progress you've made. You acknowledge that progress. And there comes a time, no matter what it is, you accept that this is what I've been able to do for this hour, for this week, for this month, whatever it is that the goal is, this is what I was able to do. You celebrate, you acknowledge your accomplishment, and you take a break. You recharge yourself.
Yeah.
Then you start again.
And the 7 day, like the 7 things of happiness are in that flow.
Yes. So you
Yeah.
break it up into 7 steps. And like I said, the 7 symbolic days. And it's modeled after, I don't know if you're religious or not, but according to the Bible, God created the world in 6 days and rested on the seventh
The
day.
seventh.
We
Yeah.
need to take the time to acknowledge what we've accomplished. And this is another thing about leaders. You have to know at what point you can tell yourself, I've done enough. I'm okay with my accomplishments today. I need a break, then I'll start over.
We need to just hold on right there because I agree with you wholeheartedly. And I think that's where a lot of the challenge for people comes in. Two of them actually is stop. What? If I stop, I'm not going to make as much money or I'm not going to deliver as good of a product. So that's one, learning how to stop and turning off. And then two, celebrating and acknowledging I got enough. I got as much done today as I could.
Yes.
I love that your method is bringing that back into a process and welcoming people
Yes.
into those important steps. I'm curious, can we connect what you've talked about with
Yes.
energy and even this? I'll use the word coherence, even though I know you haven't overtly said that, but there's something about, I'm guessing, between the coherence of our purpose and what we want, like
Mm-hmm.
what we want to do, and the coherence between what we want and how happy we are and our energy level. Can you
Right.
tie those three things together for us?
Yes. So the mind energy duality, the mind is the design aspect, the energy is what we do every day. According to the proxy method, there is an original design of the person. The whole point of the proxy method is to clear any kind of impurity, trauma, disturbances, so that we can bring you back to your original design. When you're living in alignment with that original design, everything flows the way it's
Right.
supposed to. That means your energy comes back to you the way it's supposed to, just like I was alluding to the fact that you're doing something, you feel that you're serving a purpose. Your energy flows back to you because you live the kind of life that you try your best. We're all just trying to align your efforts with that original design of yours.
Mm-hmm.
This is the part where we work our way toward reconnecting with your authentic self, where you get to see that original design and live by that original design. That means a lot of people in life made decisions based on expectations.
That other people have set.
Yes. Simple
Yeah.
examples. There are people who grew up in families where everyone was a doctor or expecting them to be a lawyer, or everyone expects them to go to MIT and be some, top-notch engineer. Now,
Yeah.
that person will live a life of expectations. They will go through everything. They will do it all. They will do it right. They might end up, 4.0 GPA, excellent students. They'll get into the corporate world. They will do fantastic because that's what's expected of them. But then one day they will hit a wall because they will realize I'm not being true to my authentic self. I'm only
Yep.
doing what I'm expected to do. So when you do that analysis, you start to analyze a person not only on the energy level and analyzing their efforts and whatever is happening in their life, but you also analyze the mind level original design. So you bring the two together. If you manage to create that synergy, that flow between that original design and whatever that person is doing here in terms of energy and effort and work, then you have a better chance at finding energy through what you're doing every day.
Mm,
And your bank account will still keep being replenished
right.
because you're doing what you're supposed to do. It's different for each person because we all have our own original design that we're supposed to live by.